Hello, everybody. Welcome to Between the Bumps Professional Wrestling Podcast, the pro wrestling podcast where we go between the bumps in the ring to discuss match quality, storylines, wrestling news, and even make predictions in the world of professional wrestling and sports entertainment. I'm your host, Christian Marrero. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Between the Bumps Professional Wrestling Podcast. Today, we have the wrestler highlight of the week, where I take one WWE wrestler and one AEW wrestler, and I pretty much talk about why I am a big fan of these wrestlers, what they have done to convince me of themselves, and why I think there are big things ahead of them. So let's just dive right in. I will start with WWE. The wrestler that I want to highlight this week from WWE is none other than the WWE champion himself, the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre. Let me tell you guys, Drew McIntyre as WWE champion is one of my favorite things about the WWE today. He is just killing it. He has arguably the hardest job in the company right now, in my opinion. In my opinion, his job is the most difficult job, considering the situation that we're in. It would not be that case. Well, okay, let me back up here. It would be that case, because it is always hard to be the main guy, the top guy. It's always hard to have that put on your shoulders. But to be the top guy in an era of pro wrestling that is unlike any other era of pro wrestling, where there are no crowds in these shows, where there are no crowds in the arenas, that is so hard. I cannot even imagine how difficult it is for Drew McIntyre. And this dude, at every junction, is just killing it. First off, he looks unreal. Let's be honest. He has one of the best looks in all of pro wrestling. He really does. He looks like a fucking Viking. That dude looks like a badass. That dude looks like he will kick your door down, breed with your wife, and you will thank him for it while making him a sandwich. That's really what Drew McIntyre looks like. He is so big. He is so athletic. He is so talented. And yet he is so charismatic. He does not just coast by on his size alone. And that's what I think I like most about him. The fact that he can legitimately talk, be it as a funny character or as a very aggressive, scary character. He can be a very charismatic, very easy to like babyface, but he can also be a very intimidating babyface. And I think that's one thing WWE is doing very well with him, is that they're not making him at any point look like a stupid babyface. Like on this week's Raw, Bobby Lashley is coming down during the VIP lounge, and instead of just turning his back to VIP and opening himself to attack, no, he claymores VIP, and then he turns his attention to Bobby Lashley. He is a smart babyface. He makes smart decisions, and that lacks a lot in WWE. You lack that with a lot of the babyfaces in WWE, and he's really good. He's very, very good. He's very charismatic. He's very easy to get behind. Drew McIntyre is legitimately one of the most talented guys on WWE's roster today. I really do think that. I think that he has improved so much. He was good back in the day. Let's not make any confusion about it. Let's not make any qualms about that. Is that Drew McIntyre has always been super talented. That's why at one point Vince McMahon and Triple H heralded him as the chosen one. And that kind of got in his head, and he got in his own head and his own ego. But then he went away and he just improved. He just dedicated himself to getting in the best shape possible and to learning as much as possible as Drew Galloway on the independents. He is awesome. Drew McIntyre is by far one of the greatest things about WWE, and I see him staying with WWE for until the end of his career. Like, I really do. I think he is always going to have a level of success there now. I think he has cemented himself as one of their top players. You know, I see him on the same level as I see a guy like John Cena, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, you know, these guys. He has really joined this club of just top tier talent, especially nowadays. Like I said, it is so hard to do what he is doing in the era that we are in. We are in a very hard to sell era. Ratings are constantly plummeting, and that's not because the shows are necessarily terrible. It's because of how weird it feels to do these shows with no crowds. It's very hard. So I think for him to carry it on his shoulders the way he has, he deserves all of the credit in the world. And I can't wait till crowds are back. I can't wait to see the kind of reactions he's going to get, because he is going to get killer reactions. Make no mistakes about it. Make no mistakes about that. Drew McIntyre is going to have a very high level of success, in my opinion. I think Drew McIntyre is going to be one of the top players for WWE, not only for the foreseeable future, but for the long-term future. This dude, he's in his prime right now. He still has a very long career ahead of him if he wants it, as long as he doesn't face any severe injury or anything like that. And he's a really good wrestler in ring. Like, he's very safe. A lot of people have come out to talk about just how talented he is between the ropes. So I see him having a lot of longevity. I see him having a very successful career. I think that he is the perfect choice to be the WWE champion right now. I hope that he holds that title for a very long time. And all rumor and innuendo points to the fact that this is the new guy in Vince McMahon's mind. And I think it's a good choice. I think it's a choice that the fans can easily get behind. I think that it is a choice that will benefit the company long term. He is one of the most believable champions that WWE has had in a long while, barring Brock Lesnar. But the difference between him and Brock Lesnar is Drew is there almost every week. We always see the WWE Championship. Hell, all rumor and innuendo was saying that Brock was trying his hardest to put Drew over, that Brock really likes Drew. And for you to get Brock Lesnar motivated, for you to get Brock Lesnar behind you to where Brock says, you know what, I'm going to do my best to make you look amazing, you're doing something right. Drew must have been doing something absolutely right. And so far, for me, he's doing everything right. I can't think of one thing since he has started his path to that championship that he has failed on. I can't think of one thing, and I've tried. I really have tried to look back and think about the things about Drew McIntyre that fell flat for me ever since he started feuding with Brock, and I can't think of not even one. Not even one thing. That is really legitimately how good I feel Drew McIntyre has been, at the end of 2019 going into 2020. Especially with all the craziness in the world. Like, props to Drew. Drew is one of the hardest workers. Like, that is just shown in his work. You can just tell that he is passionate. He is hardworking. He is one of the top tier guys. Like I've said, he is just very passionate about what he does. He cares about what he does, and he cares to put on the greatest show possible for everybody. So, I think that Drew McIntyre is amazing. I think he deserves a lot of credit, and I see very bright things in his future. Now let's move on to the AEW side of things. The wrestler I want to highlight from AEW is currently not a champion, but she is amazing, and she is a dentist. And I am talking about none other than Britt Baker, DMD. I love Britt Baker, guys. I am not going to beat around the bush with that one. I love Britt Baker. I love everything that she is doing right now. Her heel character. Okay. I watched the show when they were on Chris Jericho's boat, when they were on that cruise. Of course I watched it. And when she turned heel by roasting Tony Schiavone, I was a little iffy. I was like, they're turning the dentist heel. Like, I thought it was smart because no one likes dentists, and I knew that she could use that to her advantage. But I was wondering, I haven't seen much of Britt Baker. I've only seen her be this kind of white meat baby face, so I didn't know how she would do in the role, and now I never want to see Britt Baker as not a heel. She's so good at the role. She has the attitude, the timing, the cadence, just everything that makes a good heel good. She's got it. She's got it down. And unfortunately, she suffered a minor injury, so she's going to be out for a couple of months. But I think that before that happened, everything that she's been doing thus far, she gets a lot of criticism. I see online. I see it all the time. People are saying that she's boring, that she's annoying, this, that, whatever. And I completely disagree. I could not disagree with that statement more. I think that she has taken this gimmick of being a role model, being a dentist, and she is just launched herself into the stratosphere. I think she is killing it at every turn. I really do. She is just so good at coming across as such an asshole. And then if you watch interviews of her in real life, it makes it even more impressive because she legitimately seems like one of the nicest people and one of the most dedicated people on planet Earth. Like, she really does. She seems so nice. So for her to come out and be able to portray that character so perfectly, like, she gets props for that. I really enjoy so much of what she's done. Honestly, had she not been injured, I'm like 99.9% certain she was going to be lined up to be Shida's opponent for the women's championship. I really think that. I really think that it was going to be Britt Baker versus Hikaru Shida at All Out or whatever pay-per-view, maybe Fyter Fest, if they want to build to that. And I think that would have been the perfect choice. I think that would have been the right choice because she is just doing really, really good. I don't see how people can complain about Britt Baker. She's one of the best in-ring talents that AEW has in terms of the women's division. I really believe that. Like, her matches are generally very good. Like, people try to make the excuses, oh, she sucks in ring. No, she doesn't. You're just talking shit because you want to talk some shit. Let's be real. She is not bad in ring by any stretch of the imagination. She is very good. And then her character work, that's what really gets me about her, you know, because she's in ring, she's good, but 99% of the roster in AEW is great in the ring. So, like, it's no surprise that she is as well. But her character work is just so perfect. Like, it's so on point. She just kills it. She really does. I really think that Britt Baker is one of their best female talents and one of their best talents overall. I really do. I was really hoping that she'd be the one to dethrone Shida, and honestly, she's probably going to be. Even with her injury, she's not going to be out for 6 to 9 months where things could get shuffled so much. Like, they can build to her versus Shida. And it's funny because, like, she's constantly finding ways to make her heel gimmick new and fresh. Week in and week out, she doesn't even need to. Because she is still a pretty fresh heel. She's only been a heel for a few months. She hasn't been a heel for very long. So the fact that she comes week in and week out and finds ways to just make everything funny, it's great. And you know, some people say that she stole the role model gimmick from Bayley. First off, Bayley's gimmick has never been, oh, I'm a role model. That's just something she says. But she doesn't actually live it like a gimmick. Britt Baker actually portrays the gimmick of, hey, I think I'm amazing and that every little girl should strive to be like me. Because I'm a dentist and I'm a pro wrestler and I've worked hard and I'm amazing. Like, the first segment she did of the rules of being a role model, saying that if you're not smart, you shouldn't wear glasses. Or saying that you can't be fat to be a role model. Like, those are asshole things to say. Those are such heelish things to say. And she got it over. She did it in her real life dental office. She's a real life dentist. Like, she really is a role model in terms of, like, what you would want your child to be. You would want your child to strive to become a dentist or a doctor or to be very successful in anything they strive to do. And she's successful in 2 things that she has strived to do. In real life, objectively, she's a role model, but she's such an asshole about it. And no, you don't want her to be the role model, and that's the whole point. The fact that she gets it over like she does, that's why she's so successful. That's why I love the gimmick so much, and that's why I love Britt Baker so much. She is just, you know, I always knew Britt Baker was good, but before this heel turn, I can't lie, she was a little stale. She was just kind of doing the babyface thing, coming out, putting on good matches, but we all know that's not enough. We all know that character work is an integral and paramount part of the pro wrestling business. So once she adapted to this heel character and just embraced it all the way, it was like the final piece of the Britt Baker puzzle. That is what really drew me to Britt Baker and made me realize, like, damn, That chick right there, she is a solid talent. She is very talented. She has a very bright future. And I think eventually it's going to start working in a way where she baby faces herself just off the sheer fact that people are going to like her so much they can't help but cheer her. Like, I think she's going to get babyface reactions from people, but that's fine. Like, as long as they run this heel gimmick out for an extended period of time, let her explore a lot of it, then if they eventually want to go back to her being the babyface, that's fine. You can work that. But I really do think that her as a heel character, she's going to start getting cheered. She's really going to start getting cheered by a lot of people, even though she's being an asshole, just because of how good of a job she's going to do. I really do think that Britt Baker is an amazing asset to AEW right now, and it's very unfortunate that she's been injured, and I just do want to take a second to wish her the best, wish her a speedy recovery, and hope that everything goes well from here on out. But other than that, like, she's just good. She's really one of my favorite parts of Dynamite every week. I look forward to everything that Britt Baker does. I really, really do. And had you told me last year, back in October when Dynamite was starting, that Britt Baker was going to be one of the standouts and was going to be one of my favorite wrestlers on the roster, I honestly wouldn't have believed you because I had no reason to. But now in 2020, I can't imagine AEW without Britt Baker. Like, I can't imagine not being a fan of her because she has won me over so very much. Britt Baker is just awesome. If you are not familiar with Britt Baker or AEW, I really implore you to seek out her stuff ever since she turned heel at the Rock and Rager at Sea. I really, really do implore you to check her out because she is just awesome. She really, really is. She's got a really good grasp on her heel gimmick. She knows what she's doing with it. She's got a perfect attitude for it. She's got a perfect, she's witty. She's fun, and she can play off of real life things that just make you want to hate her. But at the same time, that's what makes you love her, because you know that that's her job and she's succeeding at her job. I think Britt Baker deserves a lot of praise. I think she's severely underrated still. I think people who talk shit about her online are doing it just to garner a reaction, because they gotta know that what they're saying is not true. Just objectively speaking, she's good at her job as a heel. She's good at playing that part, and she's killing it week in and week out. Like Hikaru Shida, right? Hikaru Shida is like one of my favorites on the roster right now. She is one of the best female wrestlers, if not the best female wrestler in ring that they got. But I can't imagine Hikaru Shida not being a babyface. She's just such a natural babyface. She just has this energy about her that you want to cheer her, you want to get behind her. And in the same way, Britt Baker just has this natural heel energy of like, hey, I'm so good at being an asshole, so I'm just going to be an asshole. And she's so good at it. And like I say, when you watch an interview with her, it's almost mind-boggling because she's so nice. So yeah, I think Britt Baker is going to be one of the brightest future stars in AEW. I really do think that. I think she's going to bring a lot of vibes in. I think that she's uber talented and that this heel character is the perfect character for her. So those are my two wrestler highlights of the week. WWE Champion Drew McIntyre and Britt Baker DMD. They're both amazing wrestlers. Thank them both for their work. I thank them both for their work because they are awesome. They are killing it. Tune in next Friday for another wrestler highlight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Well, everybody, this has been Between the Bumps Professional Wrestling Podcast, the pro wrestling podcast where we go between the bumps in the ring to discuss match quality, storylines, wrestling news, and even make predictions in the world of professional wrestling and sports entertainment. I'm your host, Christian Marrero. Stay safe. Thank you for tuning in, and don't miss tomorrow's Smackdown review. Stay safe, guys. I'll catch you later.